Hi, I'm trying this again, figuring out this Facebook Live thing and the lighting and whatnot. The last one made me look kind of scary. So just waiting for people to show up. Anyways, I'll post this up on my Facebook timeline. So this is today is International Transgender Day of Visibility. So I've been posting online this morning. Well, actually late last night, at about 12 midnight, I posted. And it's really strange. It's like I still feel kind of scared about doing that. And because I'm 55 years old. I'm 55 years old now. Yeah, I'm 55 years old now. And this Transgender Day of Visibility that I'm partaking in today, there was part of me that was really really kind of intimidated about it. I'm blown away in social media and all these amazing advocates and people that are out there doing amazing things, and all these young kids that are doing really powerful work out there in the community, getting people educated on the subject. And here's me, I'm 55 years old. It's been the only experience I've ever known since I've been a runaway. Hi, Evelyn. I'm talking about Transgender Day of Visibility and what it means to me. And welcome to my romper room. This is my yoga romper room. See? I can't move this thing or else it'll break off the window. Anyways, I'm going to post this online later, so you can watch it later as well. How are you doing? Let me see if this works. Evelyn, write something. I want to see. How are you? Anyways, it's been very interesting, my life, because when I ran away at 14, 15, to be visible meant to die. You just did not expose that secret. And you hid in these enclaves of groups of people that usually were gay bars. At first, that was where I'd do gay bars because that's where you felt safe. But for me, it was, as much as I had so much support and love around that, I still had to go out into the world and figure out, what I was doing. I was only 14 when I left home, and I ended up being in the clubs a lot. And then I realized that the whole gay scene wasn't quite it. Like, I loved it, but I needed to go searching even farther. So I went to Victoria. And that's where I started meeting people that were, punk rockers and stuff. This was like 79, 80, and started realizing that, being a woman is much more than just what I was taught as a child. So my experience of the trans experience has been very um, it's been very complicated because back when we were kids, when I was a kid and all the people around me, you just didn't talk about it. You just were stealth and so today, this day of visibility is still kind of a hard one for me. Still kind of a hard one for me, and um, I'm married and I live this life on the Vancouver Island, and and I see on social media all these amazing advocates and these wonderful friends that I have online, like Laverne and other people that are doing such great work out in the big cities and stuff like that too. And when I was their age and in the city, I just I couldn't expose myself. So to have like a day of a day of transgender visibility is mind blowing to me, because when I was a kid, it was like I said, you just always had to be stealth, always had to be stealth. And I've gone in and out of that, it's like, I've been, I was a showgirl for a while, but I didn't know who knew or who didn't know or whatever. Hi guys, hi Lee, hi Danielle. And there's a few people that survived that time, the early time when I was 14, 15. I don't know anybody that's alive from that time on Davie Street and surviving and stuff like that. So to see just popped in, but I have to get off. I'm going to watch all of this shortly. Oh, I love you too, honey. Yeah, you're a beautiful woman too. Yes. So anyways, so this, just to sum it all up, this day of being visible as a transgender person, it's caused a lot of kerfuffle with some friends and stuff like that too. It's really interesting. So, but I have come to a place in my life, especially when I got clean and sober in 1991 and started on the path of recovery, and realized that I could live authentically, and if I chose to do that. And there's such amazing, beautiful people out there in the mainstream, and I've been very blessed with that. Like I see a lot of stuff online about people that have trouble with hi honey.
Hey.
I'm just talking to people.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
You look lovely.
Thank you. That's my husband. Anyways, I'm kind of, what I really want to say is that it's really laughing. I know it's funny, isn't it? But I know it is. I actually do. I'm mind blown at how open and wonderful everything can be now, and to live an authentic life, and I choose to be that on social media. And just 3 years ago, I wasn't at all. It wasn't until I got sick, and I started social media. I love you too, honey. It wasn't until I started Twitter, social media, like 2014, and I started writing about my experiences, and some people that are in, I don't want to drop names, that are famous in the media, it's like liked what I wrote and have encouraged me, and that's what I'm doing. I'm writing right now about surviving that era, and it's really, It's really is a different world. It really blows me away. So I'm just really grateful for all of my friends, especially like when I was living in White Rock 2 years ago, and I had this awakening, and I started talking to um, online about my experience because I didn't know who knew what or who knew whatever, and it's like and really it's like it's nobody's business unless they ask type of thing, and or if I hear somebody talking something that doesn't make sense about trans or intersex or something like that, I'll pipe in and set them straight, and then they'll wonder why I did it, and then I will tell them, and then I'll get that sweet little Labrador thing, and then I'll have to tell them. Then I tell them my story. So, anyways, it's with what's going on in the States with Trump and the police and all this bullshit. It just blows me away. It's like I'm 55 and I'm waking up and I'm going like, when did this all happen? So, I think we have to watch it too because, the young people, a lot of young people and stuff like that too. I think the advocates, some of the trans advocates are like Republicans' wet dreams because how they fight some of this stuff. It's like we have to realize it's where I personally, this is just my personal opinion, I believe that, evolution happens slowly. And so we have to respect each other and have dialogue. And I don't know, just let's just have a really good, like, every day have a day of visibility with each other, and just just love one another. Anyways, I'm so tired. I had this beautiful 2-hour acupressure treatment, and I'm just freaking buzzed in my yoga room. I just did some yoga. And then I thought I'd do this profound speech about today's day of transgender visibility. And so anyways, here's one. Grab the Polaroid. Grab the Polaroid. Continue, my sister, inspiring. Your husband interrupted, so I laugh. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it really is. It's for anybody that just joined in, all 4 of you. But I'll post this online. We have come a long way, and so to have a day of International Day of Transgender Visibility is amazing. And a lot of people that watch this, if you're around way back when, you'll be saying hallelujah with me, because we would, in a million years, you never would have thought this. 2 years ago, seeing Laverne Cox on Time magazine, the transgender tipping point, it has just exploded, and now there's this backlash with Trump and stuff. It's just crazy. And here I am, this housewife on Vancouver Island, and it's like, and I've got to play my part. I gotta play my part. I have to say, hey, it's like, I had this experience at 14 running away from home. There was no way you could be visible back then. Nothing at all. You were either a showgirl or in the recovering sex industry, and that was it. And to tell you the truth, this LGBT thing, it's like, and like this, everybody's now all like, oh yay, trans rights and stuff like that too. And I have to tell you that, unless the gay people that I was around when I was young, that we huddled together and took care of each other, it was great, but it was all survival sex industry or the shows or whatnot. But whenever myself or others tried to get into the world to work, it was usually gay people that would out us, and people that were professionals in the gay that were in the gay scene, but they were working professionally. Because I remember applying at Blanche McDonald as a model, and almost getting signed with them. And this gay guy took the manager aside, and I was 19 years old. I'll never forget it. And they went out of the room, the casting person, the person that was going to sign me, and then they came back, and her whole attitude changed. And that was like 1980, 81. And so I felt like I was destined just to be in the survival sex industry, or showgirl. That was all. That was it. And that's what I did until 1991, because of my addiction and my alcoholism, which I believe was just so I could do what I did. And luckily I had the amazing shows that we did. That was fun and stuff too, with my friend Tiggy, my best friend Tiggy, who died because of it was a different world back then. So it's really a lot different. It's really a lot different now, and I have to give thanks to if I didn't end up in recovery and realize that there was a new way to live, and that when they said that we all suffer from terminal uniquism, I thought to myself, oh yeah, if you only knew, type of thing. But the longer I stayed around, the more I made some friends, the more I told them my secrets. They just, I remember this one woman, I told her my story, and she said, and I was totally freaked out about it. And then she said, honey, she goes, I wouldn't care if you were an alien with 8 assholes. And I started bawling. I just couldn't believe it. It was the most beautiful thing somebody had ever said to me. And we hugged, and then I realized that there was good people out there. And but I still had to watch it. It was still a stealth thing, right up until I started getting into advocacy work with Sandy Lafamboise and Deborah and other people that encouraged me to get into doing some advocacy work to get laws changed in British Columbia. And so I helped do that, and I was clean and sober, and I was working in social service in mental health and addictions. And it's amazing. It's like my life changed, but there was still, you could not be visible. You still had to watch out who you told and who you didn't. And it was always this crapshoot of who you could and who you couldn't, and I was blessed with a few good genes. So it's like I was able to navigate in Vancouver pretty easily. And but there was still, people that were in the clubs and stuff like that. And again, it was usually, some gay people on the bus or something that would just go, oh, that's a tranny. That sounds like a tranny, or something like that. It was just horrible. So, I'm here to tell you, it's like I'm 55. I've been around for like 40 years doing this, watching this whole experience. And back then, it's like, it wasn't the straight people I was like scared of, because usually they wouldn't know because of the experience. It was the gay people that knew, and they would out you. And there's this beautiful woman named Star, this woman, this transgender woman. We used to call ourselves transsexual then, and she, I remember going to the West End, and she is a beautiful woman, so striking. she was a cellist, I believe, with the Vancouver Opera, the Vancouver Symphony, and I remember every time I go to the West End and I'd see her, would be kind of like taking court, going down Denman Street, like we all used to, and but then I was, just a 9 to 5, working in social service, and she'd be all glammed up, and so it kind of looked, in the West End, if you're a tall, attractive Amazon, it's like, people just assume you're trans. And I've had lots of model friends that I actually, one time I was in a bar, and it's like my girlfriend went to the bathroom, and she's a model, and the guy next to me said, I don't mean to be rude, but did your girlfriend used to be a man? And I was going, maybe you should ask her. It's like, so anyways, that's just kind of the thought process. You're in the West End, it's like tall Amazon woman, it's like, must be something, you know what I mean? People just think like that. So anyway, Star, this woman Star who I'm talking about, this beautiful trans woman that I knew, and every time I'd see her and she'd walk down the street, and I was kind of in a stealth phase, working at Coast Foundation and just kind of cruising, down Davie Street every once in a while, saying, hanging out with people in recovery. And I was really toned down then, and I would just hear people, calling her out, and it was gay people, and they were going, oh, that's a tranny, and stuff like that too. It was just so horrible, and I could see how hurt she was. And she ended up killing herself. Shortly after I saw her one time, and that happened. Actually, it was actually at a Pride, and there was people actually doing this. This was like in the mid-90s, and I just couldn't believe that it was Pride, and gay people were pointing out, like trying to where's Waldo, in the crowd. So, that's something that, should be in our history books to remember, like when I see all the LGBT, we're all one, and it's all, it's great that we think like that now, and the younger generation does. I do see some posts online saying, my brothers and sisters and, trans people and everything like that, and they're really authentic, you can tell. But there's a lot of culpability out there, not just with the straight scene, but with gay people too, that were very transphobic, and it was very hurtful. And I think it could have helped a lot of people. I know my best friend Tiggy, I have mentioned her again, she succumbed to society and everything, and just couldn't handle it anymore, and she killed herself. And you couldn't be visible, you couldn't talk about it. She was so conditioned that she couldn't talk about it, that she didn't, to a point that it became an illness and a pathology. And luckily, I was in recovery, and 5 years before, she took me to she actually is the one that took me to the detox. And so bless you, Tiggy, up in heaven. Anyways, I love you all, and this is my little Babylon. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous about talking online about it, but may we all be authentic. May we all be free of fear. May we all see each other, see ourselves in each other, because we're all mirrors. We're all molecules. That's all we are. We're just molecules. I love you. Namaste. Take a deep breath. exhale. And have a wonderful night. Namaste from Canada, West Coast, Vancouver Island East Coast. I love all you guys. Oh, Bliss, you just joined. You're doing great, sis. Stay strong. Love you, Danielle. Love you guys. Anyways, I'll post this up on my line, on my timeline. Okay. And blessings to you all. Have a wonderful day. May you all be visible. May we all be visible all the time. And just enough of this bullshit. Okay. Love you. Bye.